We've given you our early off-season buys. We've given you our early off-season sells. Really, at the end of the day, those aren't like our favorite and least favorite players to own in Dynasty. They really are just market plays. So if you want to know who our favorite players are in Dynasty, this is the video for you. Cam Skattebooboo is going to be our first guy here on this video. Probably our favorite running back to have right now on our Dynasty team, period, point blank. We're going to have a couple other running backs in this video, but Cam Skattebooboo, our favorite, going to be the poster child for this video because when you saw what he was able to do before he went down with the injury, and again, I'll get to the injury stuff, I'll talk about it, but 16 fantasy points per game. His receiving usage, really, really good. Receiving efficiency, very solid, 8.6 yards per reception. Opportunity share, solid, given the amount of time that he was able to actually be on the field, which was less than half the season. Snap share, again, wasn't anything to write home about, but with his limited snap share, limited opportunity, he still had 16 points per game. I mean, it's not like he went out there and had like 90% snap usage, kind of like Kyron Williams did when he came onto the scene. I mean, he had to work his way up, and he did it very quickly. Only 12% snap share to begin the season with Tyron Tracy as the number one back there. And then by the time it was week 2, he basically just took the job and ran with it. And again, they still limited his snaps, limited his opportunities, and it didn't matter. He was still so productive. He was still getting work in the receiving game. He was still getting, I mean, by the time we got to week 4, he had, like 25 carries and then 15, 19, 16. He started looking like the bell cow there. And again, as a runner, efficiency-wise, he was fine. He was a little over 6 yards or 4 yards per carry. It wasn't anything to write home about. The reason we like Cam Skattebooboo so much is because if you look at his value trajectory and where it was headed, where it was trending up to before he went down with the injury, I mean, he was right there by Travion Henderson. He was right there by Quinshon Judkins. He was right there by like Garrett Wilson, a good number of other solid wide receivers that we like, foundational wide receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr. He was in that early 4th round range getting into the 3rd, and he was climbing. And if you see now where Travion Henderson is currently being priced, like that's right around where Cam Skattebooboo would currently be if he had actually played for the rest of the year and not his season wasn't ended by that ankle injury. And again, the ankle injury, I'll just talk about it now. Like, yes, I totally fully understand and totally recognize that Cam Skattebooboo's price is what it is because he got injured, because he missed so much time, because that injury didn't look pretty. I'm here to tell you that all reports are saying that Cam Skattebooboo is going to be comfortably ready to go by the time that we get to the start of training camp. Like, his rehab has gone very, very well. He's looking very, very healthy, and there's not seeming to be any sort of long-term damage or long-term effects from this injury. As ugly as it looked on TV, it was actually best case scenario for him. Now, another thing I want to look at here is just the context. I mean, John Harbaugh just announced to be the new head coach for the New York Giants. What better hire could you ask for when you're talking about a potential bell cow running back in this offense? I mean, the one thing that we know about John Harbaugh, the one thing that we've learned in his almost 2 decades of being the Baltimore Ravens head coach is that he's a run-first type of guy. And he's not the play caller, no, but he does establish a culture. He does establish a type of offense that he likes to run and has been doing it for a long time, and it's been successful. And that generally includes some sort of bell cow running back. That generally includes, honestly, a Cam Skattebooboo type of running back. Cam Skattebooboo seems to fit the John Harbaugh type of offense very, very well. And I'm telling you right now, like, the 4th round draft capital is not something to really worry about in terms of him being like super replaceable. When you have a talented running back that is good on both the air and the ground, you hold on to that guy on a rookie deal. And you use him a lot on that rookie deal. Cam Skattebooboo heading into the 2nd year of a cheap 4th round rookie contract as a running back, where running backs are already, again, from an NFL draft capital perspective, valued less. So a lot of them are going to go later, even though they can end up being long-term options. Early 4th round draft capital, totally fine. If you remember on the Bakery, he was the highest graded 4th round draft capital running back prospect that we've ever seen. And that's data dating back to like a decade, like back to 2015. So again, I'm not worried about that. And then when you go over to the 3 factors, which is basically our way of trying to like objectively quantify the rankings and the values of pretty much every dynasty player in fantasy football, Cam Skattebooboo is ranked out right now as the running back 9. And it's because his insulation is so good. He's 9th among running backs in insulation. Great situation on a rookie deal. Production score, again, going to be top 12. When he was on the field, when he was healthy, he was one of the most productive running backs in fantasy football. Situational score, I mean, this situation is going to go up. It was already trending up because of Jackson Dart really helping elevate that offense quite a bit. It's going to increase with John Harbaugh now being the new head coach. Whatever OC they end up bringing in, I'm just telling you right now, like this is a situation that is trending up for Skattebooboo. I don't think anybody expects it to be a worse situation than it was last year, and he was in that situation scoring 16 points per game. So we love Cam Skattebooboo. There's almost no team that we've done a review on where we see a team that has Cam Skattebooboo that owns him, and we're like, yeah, we want you to move off of him. There's no contend team, no reload team, no rebuild team where we are not content with them holding Cam Skattebooboo. He is one of the best players to own in Dynasty. And if you want to get your team reviewed, you can head over to flockfantasy.com/domain. You can sign up for the annual Mother Flocker tier. And not only do you get a free team blueprint, you also get access to our Domain League network, which is again, it's exclusive to the domain community only, where you will get in leagues with other domain members. And I'm telling you, these are some of the best leagues that we've ever been in. You also get Infinite Blueprint with your free team review voucher that comes with the annual Mother Flocker tier. You also get access to our Rookie Vault, which is our rookie draft guide, the bakery that I've mentioned, Cam Skattebooboo, again, having a very solid bakery grade given his draft capital. If you want to get more three-factor analysis as well on like every individual player on your team, would highly, highly, highly recommend the Blueprint Premium. We have, we break down your entire roster by category. Cam Skattebooboo, I think, is the second cheapest foundational asset to own in Dynasty right now. If you don't know what a foundational asset is, we actually established that in the Cornerstones video that we did last week, where we kind of reworked how we're going to do Cornerstone videos. And those are basically guys who have Cornerstone upside, but their ceiling hasn't yet been realized. Cam Skattebooboo, we absolutely consider in that tier. He's young enough. He's on a rookie deal. He's a very productive running back. He is capable of being a low-end Cornerstone to a point where he is categorized as a foundational asset right now, according to his three-factor grade. So if you want to see what other foundational assets you own on your team, what percent of foundational assets are currently allocated to your roster, how many cornerstones do you have, how many short-term league winners do you have, how many productive vets, mainstays, etc. I mean, we've got like 11 different categories where every single asset in Dynasty is assigned to one of those, and that really, really helps you, along with your value share and production share, kind of figure out like, hey, where do I lie in terms of value in my league? And is this really going to put me in a good position to be a contender? Should I reload? Should I rebuild? All of that, again, going to be in the Blueprint Premium. You can also just get the team blueprint if you'd like, where we have the value share, the production share, have all these different detailed trade ideas for your team, not just buys, not just sells, but practical down tiers, up tiers, and pivots that you can make to make your team better and really ultimately get to your goal, which is winning a championship. So Cam Skattebooboo, one of our favorite foundational targets at the moment, one of our favorite foundational players to own. Next guy that we're going to go to, it's actually going to be a couple guys, because I mentioned short-term league winner as a category that's tied to our three factors. And short-term league winner is a very, very special category because it's the smallest by far. There are only two players that belong in this category. And before I dive into Devontae Adams and Christian McCaffrey, let me tell you why they're the only players in this category. Again, we're very, very specific with how we define these categories so that it's very clear what types of players we want you guys to be investing in. And a short-term league winner essentially is an older player with extremely low insulation. Why are Adams and CMC not insulated? It's not because they're not focal points in their offense. It's not because they're not essential in terms of fantasy production for you to win a fantasy championship, for you to potentially go on a push in your dynasty league to, again, go pay for them and go win your league. It's because they are old, and at any given moment they could go down with an injury and it would cut their price in half, if not cut their value in half, if not more. Like they could literally lose 75% of their value in an instant, to the level that they can win you your league if they stay healthy. If they stay healthy, these guys quite literally can single-handedly win your league, right? So these aren't guys who are going to single-handedly win you a league like a cornerstone like Jamar Chase, right? Everybody knows that cornerstones can single-handedly win you a league. Everyone knows that Puka Nacua can pick you up and carry you to the championship and give you a chance by himself. He can absolutely do that. He did that for me in 3 leagues. What's so special about these guys is they don't cost what those league-winning cornerstones do. They're at a fraction of the price because why? Because they are not insulated whatsoever, because they're old farts, because they're 31, 32, 33 years old. Davante Adams, I think, is like 33 years old right now. So I'm not going to go into the individual efficiency metrics of Davante Adams and CMC. You know exactly who Davante Adams is. You know what he's capable of. You know how he wins. You know how he's productive and how he's been doing it for the last decade plus. And the same thing with CMC. CMC, 25 point per game guy. He's done it, I think, like 4 or 5 years at this point. When he doesn't have 25 points per game, he's either injured or he's scoring 20 to 22 points per game. It's Christian McCaffrey, right? Their reputations precede themselves. There is no one else in Dynasty Fantasy Football who at such a palatable price can carry you to a championship single-handedly. These are the players that contending teams let die on their roster. These are the players that you never, ever sell because it's not worth it. We're in January right now. It's January 15th that I'm recording this video. Every month from here on out, every day from here on out, the value of Davante Adams and CMC is going to increase. Really, once we get to the summer especially, it's going to increase significantly at that point. It'll probably stay for a couple more months. And then by the time people get bored with rookies, they're going to start thinking about production again. Once all this rookie hype and rookie fever is done, people will start looking at how many points are in their starting lineup. And that's when players like Adams and CMC gain so much value. By the time we get to the summer, and by the time that we get to August, September, you really have like this 9-month window where you have a solid market play with these short-term league winners. CMC and Adams will be much more expensive in August than they are right now. This is the cycle of Dynasty. Once the season ends, nobody's scoring points for 8 months. Nobody cares about the production in their starting lineup. No one's looking at their starting lineup for the most part. And if they are, they're just looking at the value. Adams and CMC are a hot commodity for contenders in August because that's when most of your contenders in your league start looking at how they can score more points in their lineup. If you get ahead of the curve, if you get ahead of the game and you have these players on your roster right now, there is absolutely no reason, absolutely no chance that we are telling you to move off of them. They are one of the better value upside plays in the short term. A lot of our value upside plays, and again, this is a big focus of ours this year, especially when we do team blueprints right now in January. 9-month market plays are greater than 2-year market plays. We're not having you target guys that we think are going to break out in 24 months. We're having you target guys who we anticipate seeing a value peak in the next 6 to 9 months. Nice. So with Adams and CMC, there's no one better. If you want a old fart productive veteran who you know is not going to be replaced in the NFL draft because they are just so good when they're on the field and available, it's Adams and CMC. So again, contend, reload, rebuild. I don't have an issue with any of you guys holding them on your roster right now because you'll be able to, if you're a reload or rebuild, sell them for more in August. If you're a contending team, you're going to be glad you have them now than having to pay a higher price for them later when we get to the start of the 2026 season. Next guy we're going to have here is Drake London. And the reason we like Drake London so much and why we think he's one of the better players to own in Dynasty is he's pretty much the most affordable cornerstone wide receiver who, again, because he's so affordable, because he's the cheapest cornerstone that you can get in Dynasty right now, there is some room for him to grow. I mean, you're talking about in a down season where he was kind of banged up for a good chunk of the year, still averaged just under 17 points per game, which was good for the wide receiver 6 this season. 30% target share, 5th among wide receivers in the NFL. He was 5th in unrealized air yards. He was 8th in air yard share. He was 13th in red zone targets. I mean, if you remember, Drake London, who, by the way, is just turned 24 years old. He's like a young 24. It feels like London's been in the league forever, and he kind of has, but it's because he was such a young prospect, and he's still so gosh dang young. Like, he's up for a second contract already at 24, and he's going to be one of the most insulated wide receivers in the NFL. Like, if you remember in the early years of London's career, the reason people had so many concerns with him is because he wasn't getting the red zone uses that you would want to see from a high upside opportunity wide receiver. And that just totally flipped a switch last year where he had like 7 touchdowns this year, or 10 touchdowns this year. He's had like 7. And again, that was with like missing a couple of games. This has been really, really good for London and his upside. Wide receiver 5 last year. In 12 games this year with Atlanta, again, wide receiver 19 in points per game, he was a wide receiver 6. And I understand best ability is availability, which is why he lost a little bit of value this season. He actually more maintained than lost. But again, because of the way that he ended the year by being banged up, like this is why Drake London has become an achievable asset in Dynasty and someone that you're going to want to hold. You're definitely not going to want to sell him. This guy should be spoken of in the same breath as CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. And those guys are going almost a full round later than Drake London right now. Almost a full round later. They've got a couple years on him too, or London has a couple years on them. Malik Neighbors right now is going in the late first. He has just as many questions coming off of an ACL. He's going well above Drake London. Like every single one of those guys. Talk about down tier moves. If you want to down tier from Lamb or from Neighbors to London plus, I would go ahead and just do it. And it's not because I dislike Neighbors. It's not because I dislike Lamb. It's just because London at price, he has the same upside and he's going downwards of the late second round. If you can get him at late startup second round prices, that's absolutely a price that you're going to want to buy. Even mid second, like I'm totally cool with it. London is just, again, going to be one of the more consistent guys, I think, despite an inconsistent situation from a quarterback perspective. He's demonstrated that he can transcend that for 2 years in a row now. And in the midst of injury this season, where a lot of those games he played injured this year, I mean, he was still getting like 10 plus targets most games. So Drake London, we're a huge fan of, super young, going to be super insulated once he gets his contract extension, a big mega contract with the Falcons. Like, get ready for it. He's gonna make himself even more insulated in Dynasty, and I think he can only move up over the next year or two. Next guy that we're gonna have here is going to be a running back, and that is James Cook. Look, I've been wrong about James Cook. We've been wrong about James Cook, talking about him plenty of times since he came into the league. We've been wrong on a lot of turns with James Cook, and I'm totally, fully willing to admit that, 100%, absolutely. What has been so unprecedented with James Cook is, his true development as a running back. I'm just telling you guys, like, if you remember back in his days with Georgia, he was splitting a backfield with Zamir White. Some people were arguing Zamir White was more of the focal point there, and especially on the ground, like he was getting a lot of work. James Cook was kind of your explosive change of pace back, who just seemed to have more athletic upside. Lo and behold, he goes second round, multiple rounds ahead of Zamir White. He ends up being the number one guy for the Bills. The rest is history. He's been amazing. What's interesting with James Cook is, like, the last couple of years, we had him labeled as a regression candidate this season. And then when he got to a price point in August where we were like, yo, he just got an extension. Like, you're probably going to want to go get him now. We may have been wrong. And he ended up doing more than we ever expected. But like 16 touchdowns last year, barely over 1,000 rushing yards, only 200 carries, not like especially efficient as a runner. He was fine, but his receiving usage went down as well. He screamed regression, because we'd seen 2 full years, a 2-year sample size of James Cook getting roughly the same amount of carries, which wasn't anything elite or bell cow level. And we saw his touchdown skyrocket the second year, and we were like, okay, for sure, it's going to go down. Well, it did go down. And if you told me that James Cook was going to score 4 less touchdowns this year, I would have been like, oh yeah, he's going to finish as a low-end running back 1, high-end running back 2. He's a running back 6. Guys, he increased his rushing attempts by 50%. He turned into a true bell cow. And not only did he turn into a true bell cow from a volume perspective, he got more efficient as a runner. 5.25 yards per carry. He was a half yard more efficient than his best year in the NFL. And if anybody watched any of those games with James Cook, if anybody watched a lot of Buffalo this year, not only was he the focal point of that offense from a touch perspective, but he looked like the second best player on the field for Buffalo. He looked like a truly good running back with way better vision than I've ever seen from James Cook. He truly has developed and gotten better every single year. I've been pleasantly surprised that he's been able to just improve and look better year after year, hands down. And essentially looking like the second best player on the field next to Josh Allen. He looks like truly one of the better runners of the football in the NFL right now. And I honestly don't understand why that's not being reflected in his price in Dynasty right now. With the Dynasty startups we've been doing recently, I just saw James Cook go in the late 4th, borderline 5th round. which is 2 rounds, almost 2 full rounds after where JT is going at like the 2-3 turn. And I just don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because that means I can capitalize and get James Cook at a really affordable, really nice price for one of the more productive running backs that is very insulated and in a great situation. I mean, if you own James Cook, you got to be through the roof right now holding him on your team. I mean, if people are going to undervalue him, I guess I'll just win my league again next year like I did with him this year. So Cook, I mean, between his efficiency metrics being, 6 in points per game, just under 18 points per game, yards per reception, 8.8 yards per reception, very, very explosive, tons of breakaway runs this year, like across the board. James Cook, again, I'm not saying that James Cook is just as good or has just as high of a ceiling as a guy like Jonathan Taylor, but if you remember last year, like Saquon Barkley was going right around where JT's being priced right now, and we weren't big fans of it because we knew that he couldn't go any higher. And I think a lot of people realize that, but everyone understood this is the price you have to pay for a highly productive running back. Well, this is not the price you have to pay for a highly productive running back that can help you win a championship, because you can get it in James Cook 2 rounds later. And no, he's not going to get 20 touchdowns like JT did this year. I mean, talk about touchdown regression. We've only seen it one other time from JT. It's not going to happen every single year with him. Not to mention you have less wear and tear from James Cook. He's a little bit younger. He has a great contract. JT's contract going to be up after this season. Like, there's a lot of things to like about James Cook. And again, while he might not have the ceiling or the upside that a Saquon or a JT has or a CMC, he's a step right below that, and he's quite a bit younger. So foundational asset for us. I mean, he's a guy that we're happy to build our teams around at his current price. And if you're a reload or a rebuild, just sell him in the middle of the season at a higher price than where he's currently being valued at the moment in Dynasty. Next guy we're going to have is a quarterback, Brock Purdy. Look, I'm just going to say it right now. He has to stay healthy. He has got to be available. Brock Purdy is amazing when he is on the field and when he is playing. And that's why we like him so much, and that's why we have him on this video, and why we have so many people just hold on to him on their teams. Like, he's our down tier go-to. When we have someone down tier from a high-end QB in Dynasty right now, like, he's our go-to in that middle range of like the 3rd to the 6th round. And I think a lot of people are super gun-shy with quarterbacks at the moment in terms of investment and price at the high end, because we've seen so many of those guys fall out of the 1st to 2nd round to that dreaded 3rd to 6th round range or 3rd to 7th round range because they don't produce. And the volatility of that position seems to be greater than it's ever been before, even in Superflex formats. So what do we do with that? How do we respond? Well, I mean, number one, we recommend that people invest in the 3rd to 7th round guys, because they're the guys that have room to move up, rather than the guys up top who are non-rushing QBs have plenty of room to move down. But I mean, you saw this in Trevor Lawrence, for example, who was like a 1st round quarterback. After his 2nd year, he had a great 2nd year, fell all the way down to the 6th round. And now he's back up in like the 3rd, 4th round range because he had a great season with Liam Cohen. Brock Purdy is just oh so steady, and he's going to remain oh so steady. Not only for us, but hopefully we're optimistic for market value long term, because he's going to be with Kyle Shanahan. He's going to be with San Fran forever. And again, we're not of the opinion. There still are a number of people that are of the opinion that Brock Purdy, is holding them back. He's kind of the weak link. He's not the big flashy weapon that they have like CMC or Kittle or whatever. Look, I'm telling you, you could have said that with Debo. You could have said that with him being paired with Ayuk. Ayuk's gone. Debo's gone. Kittle and CMC have been gone for a significant amount of time, and Purdy has still maintained his high level of production. 5th in fantasy points per game this season at 21 points per game. 5th. And again, I want him to be available. I absolutely do. I respect where he's being priced. There's no better quarterback in that range that you can invest in than Brock Purdy right now. Not with the production that you're getting from him. Not with the production that you're getting from him. And I'm just telling you right now, guys, I'm telling you right now, I hate to make this into an anti-CJ Stroud video. I tried to avoid that, but I can't help it. If you flipped CJ Stroud and Brock Purdy's draft capital, CJ Stroud would be priced where Tua Tagovailoa is right now, and Brock Purdy would be priced where Jackson Dart and Joe Burrow are being priced right now. It's not even a question. It's actually not even, it's not even remotely a question. It's not close. I don't know what it is about Brock Purdy not being a heavy investment to begin with. He got a huge contract. Okay, so they should put all that away. I don't know what it is with all the weapons around him and you saying that he's dependent on these weapons. We have seen game after game after game. We saw a whole season last year where CMC didn't play and Brock Purdy was wildly productive, like all year long. This should not be a concern for us whatsoever. It should not be. And when it costs you almost as much to get CJ Stroud as it does to get Brock Purdy in Dynasty, like, what are we doing, guys? Do you like points and do you like winning your league or not? Brock Purdy's more insulated. Like, legitimately, he is. Next guy we've got is a 101. One of the biggest fallacies that I hear in Dynasty right now. It's been something that's been coming up recently, and I'm not a big fan of it at all. I feel like it's Dinosaur Dynasty, but this notion that, like, hey, would you rather have Jeremiah Love, the big flashy new 101, or get Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs? Would you rather have Jeremiah Love, who you hope is going to be Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs, or Devon Achane, or just have Bijan, Gibbs, or Devon Achane? That's a terrible argument. That's not how we play Dynasty, guys. This is a game of value. And to be totally honest, I don't care what Jeremiah Love ends up doing for the next 10 years. I don't care who he turns into. I don't care if he turns into Barry Sanders or Leonard Fournette. It doesn't make a difference to me. The what do I wish Jeremiah Love argument is a total red herring. It's totally irrelevant. It has nothing to do with where the 101 in Jeremiah Love is being priced right now. And why I care and why I am totally cool investing and owning Jeremiah Love right now is because of the value upside and the value insulation. Mid-second round prices right now, guys. Mid-second round prices. Same caliber prospect as Ashton Gency, same caliber prospect as Bijan Robinson. He's right up there according to the bakery, et cetera, et cetera. I could go on and on. Everybody knows about Jeremiah Love. What matters to me is in the next 12 to 18 months, Jeremiah Love will at the very least maintain his value because it essentially does not matter what he does from a production perspective this season as a rookie. We've seen 2 demonstrations of it now so far. Bijan Robinson and Ashton Gency. And they went to bad landing spots and had bad situations their rookie year. And you know what happened to their value? Neutral. Absolutely neutral. This is the same type of argument that you could have made with Malik Neighbors when he was coming in as a rookie. Would you rather invest in Malik Neighbors? Or would you rather just invest in Jamar Chase? Or I guess heading into a second year, would you rather invest in Malik Neighbors and hope he's Jamar Chase, or just go get Jamar Chase? How about neither? How about I don't answer that question, and how about I just invest in Malik Neighbors because he's so insulated that even if he tears his ACL in the middle of the season, I can ship him off for Amon-Ra St. Brown or CeeDee Lamb because his value doesn't do crap. It stays exactly where it is because he is that type of dynasty cornerstone. Jeremiah Love is that type of dynasty cornerstone before he even steps on the field. That's not me talking. That's the dynasty market talking. If you are a contender, if you are a reload, if you are a rebuild, as a reload and a rebuild, don't down tier from the 101 right now. This class is not worth it beyond the 101 to get whatever plus on top of, like the 106 plus a couple late firsts. It's not worth doing it like it was last season. The 101 you want to hold on to is a reload or rebuild. There's value upside there. If Jeremiah Love has a 1,000-yard season like Gency did this year in a terrible situation, he's going to maintain or even go up a little bit in value. If you're a contending team and Jeremiah Love underwhelms a little bit like Bijan and Gency did their rookie seasons, guess what you can do? Ship off Jeremiah Love for the price that he is right now. He's one of the safest. The 101 is one of the safest assets to own in Dynasty right now, regardless of what outlook you have on your Dynasty team. Last guy that we're going to have here, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet. There is one player in Dynasty Fantasy Football who is essentially guaranteed to be available for you at all times and is the most consistent fantasy asset. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. The last 4 years for Amon-Ra St. Brown, the wide receiver 7, the wide receiver 3, the wide receiver 3, and you guessed it, folks, the wide receiver 3. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the most consistent wide receiver in fantasy football. More than Chase, more than Lamb, more than Jefferson, more than anybody up top. Because guess what? He's available. Jefferson has missed time. Jefferson also had a really bad season this year. CeeDee Lamb misses time. Jamar Chase misses time. And Burrow misses time. A lot of time. Amon-Ra St. Brown can sprain his ankle and come back 4 days later because he's the freaking sun god in the slot king. Last 3 years, 10, 12, and 11 touchdowns. 164, 141, and 172 targets. Elite level numbers every single year. Guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your team is if they let you down in the playoffs. And the biggest chance you have at a player letting you down in the playoffs is if they're not there to even give you a chance to produce because they're hurt. Every single year, Amon-Ra is there for you in the playoffs, and he's available. You can always lean on Amon-Ra. There's no reason that you shouldn't want Amon-Ra St. Brown on your Dynasty team. 26 years old. He is on the lower end of the CeeDee Lamb and Neighbors and Jefferson's here. Like, give me Amon-Ra. He's a very, very achievable cornerstone. The only guy really that's cheaper that we like is Drake London. And Amon-Ra is more consistent straight up. Amon-Ra is an early second-round price wide receiver, and he should be probably late to mid-first. I mean, there's almost no team outside of like a hard rebuild, half PPR format where I'm like, hey, you might want to down tier from Amon-Ra. Like, he is hands down one of our favorite guys to own in Dynasty right now. He is so reliable, and it pretty much starts and ends there. Is availability. The best ability is availability, and we got to practice what we preach. We have Amon-Ra ranked much higher than most people do. So here you go. These are the best players to own in Dynasty Fantasy Football. If you guys think that we excluded some players that you think are really good values, really good guys that you think are, some of the best guys to own in Dynasty, like, please drop them in the chat. I'm happy to see. Also with the short-term league winners, we have CMC and Devontae Adams in the short-term league winner category, and that's it. If you think somebody else belongs there, would love to know. I know like JT and Saquon are debatable there. I think they have a little more longevity than CMC and Adams do, which is why they're not the short-term league winners. They're foundational and productive vet categories. But again, like Mike Evans, a great example of someone that would have been in the short-term league winner category the last couple of years. And then you saw what happened to his value once he went down with that collarbone this year. His value was cut in half immediately. So would love to hear your opinions in the comments here on this video. And again, if you want to get in-depth 3-factor analysis on your entire team, on individual players on your team, see all of your guys like laid out and what categories they are assigned to, get that Blueprint Premium. I'm telling you, the bang for your buck that you're getting for that team. I mean, it's the most comprehensive team analysis that we have offered so far for you guys. So Blueprint Premium comes with the Infinite. It's called Blueprint Premium Plus Infinite in the drop-down option in the a la carte section of the site. But again, really appreciate you guys coming and watching today, and we will see you with the next video next week.